Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. Welcome to the best gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news channel on YouTube. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off talking about PSP emulation with PPSSPP, and we talked about this one yesterday. So yesterday version 1.16 was released, and today version 1.16.1 was released. It appears there were a few bugs in version 1.16, some of which resulted in the emulator crashing. So it's worth updating here to version 1.16.1, and also worth keeping your eye on this one. If there are more bugs, they'll be quickly fixed in version 1.16.2 whenever that releases. Next up, we're talking about Game Boy and Game Boy Advance emulation with Visual Boy Advance. And this one got a small update, but a nice update if you're on Linux. At the time of filming, version 2.1.7 has just released. We've got some fixes for Linux here and also some accuracy improvements. Visual Boy Advance M is 100% free, it's open source, and I'll drop a link to it in the description below. Moving on, and we're talking about WWF Legends Challenge 64, which is a ROM hack of WWF No Mercy for the N64. And this one got a brand new update. So this is patch 01, and it says large folder file path restructure, updated and new textures, updated save and cheat files, updated ROM, updated music, functioning.exe, and more. If you wanted to check this one out, I'll drop a link to the website in the description below. Next up, we're talking about The Sims 5, and today EA confirmed that Project Rene, which is arguably The Sims 5, will be free to download when it's ready. Project Rene will be free to download. This means that when Project Rene is ready and fully open to players, you will be able to join, play, and explore it without a subscription, core game purchase, or energy mechanics. Now, this is EA, so you might be asking, how are they going to plan on making money off this? And they kind of explain it. Project Rene will grow over time. We want Project Rene to be strong and cohesive from the start. While it won't begin with everything you have in The Sims 4, so arguably it might launch bare bones, we plan to add new experiences and content to Project Rene over time. Beyond regular updates to the core game, we will sell content and packs, but we plan to change this up a bit. For example, basic weather may be added to the core game for free for everybody. And in the future, a pack for purchase may be focused on winter sports with activities like ice dancing and a snowman's building competition. So I guess without really having to read so much into this one, it's going to be very similar to pay to win, except this is arguably pay to experience. The base game, I'd argue, is going to be pretty darn bare bones, and if you want to experience the game as it should be, EA is going to want you to pay. And speaking about paying, next up we're talking about Unity, which is an engine a lot of game developers use to make games that you have probably played. Anyways, Unity unveiled a brand new pricing and packaging update that got a lot of backlash. So at a high level here, they say effective January 1st, 2024, they will introduce a new Unity runtime fee that's based on game installs. So charging developers for every single install of a game they created with Unity. If you are curious about this one and wanted to read more, I'll drop a link to the article in the description below and feel free to check it out. It appears that pricing might be as expensive as 20 cents per install. Here's an example of some of the backlash it's been receiving. There is no way Unity talked to a single developer before launching this. Developing in Unity is now a straight up financial risk for subscription services, charity bundles, piracy, being free to play or going free to play, malicious installs, and giveaways. And Daniel says, so this means no demos, no charity keys, no prologues, no Game Pass, no PS Plus, no indie free to play. Hackjack Studios, who are behind the smash hit Pigeon Simulator, say technically this means they could charge devs for pirated games too. And Daniel basically says they don't think they have any technical possibilities to check to see if a game was installed via piracy or via a legit sale. So if a game is pirated a lot, that might cost the developer a lot of money on top of losing the sale. So after all of that backlash, and even more because some bigger companies were also voicing their opinion, it appears that Unity has regrouped and adjusted a few things, according to Stephen Totillo. So Unity regrouped and now only says the initial installation of a game triggers a fee. Demos mostly won't trigger fees, and devs not on the hook for Game Pass. I'll drop a link to the updated article in the description below, and feel free to look through it. I took a look through it, and unless I missed something, I didn't see anything about piracy. Which makes me wonder, something like Denuvo might use this as a bargaining chip or as a platform for more marketing to try to sell to more game developers. And on a side note, a very interesting side note, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that the executives may have known that this was going to happen. This person tweets out, "Pretty cool to see Unity execs performing actual insider trading by selling shares mere days before the obvious show that is now the pricing structure changes." But moving on, and we're talking about Steam, and Steam is celebrating its 20th birthday and having a nice sale. I'll drop a link to this Steam page in the description below, and I do recommend checking it out. You can see the top games from each year that Steam has been around. And some of the sales here are pretty nice. You can pick up Half-Life and Half-Life 2 for next to nothing. And speaking about deals, next up we're talking about Retro Game Core, and Russ has just posted a new video called My Favorite Handheld PCs Right Now. I do recommend checking it out. It's pretty interesting. Additionally, here he's having a charity auction with some of the handhelds from his collection, and they are going for some pretty attractive prices right now. Next up, we're talking about a brand new Kickstarter called DaemonClaw, a new fantasy retro side-scrolling action game for PC, Sega Mega Drive, and Neo Geo. And it's already almost met its goal with still 29 days left to go. I'd argue that this game looks extremely interesting and very promising. In terms of tiers here, there's the digital version for $16. There's also some physical copies here, one for the Sega Mega Drive for $54, and one for the actual Neo Geo MVS for a whopping $269. And last up here, we're talking about the iPhone, and today Apple unveiled the brand new iPhone 15 Pro and iPhone 15 Pro Max, and unveiled some very interesting information alongside of it. So they say here, iPhone 15 Pro brings true-to-life gaming to the palm of users' hands with console titles never before seen on a smartphone, like Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 4, Death Stranding, and Assassin's Creed Mirage. If I scroll down to the footnotes here, it says Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 4, and Death Stranding are coming to the iPhone 15 Pro and iPhone 15 Pro Max later this year. Assassin's Creed Mirage will be available in the first half of 2024. Although I'm not really a fan of the iPhone, this is pretty big news for gaming, and I'm really curious to see how these games are going to run on these devices. Let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate. Save your state.